Good afternoon to all. Today we are going to discuss form designing in HTML, or how can we use a form as a web page for our website. So let's begin. This is an example of the application form which you can use as a web page. So analyzing its components, the very first we can see a heading application form. Right below it there is a horizontal line. The first component in this page is a text box behind which there is a heading first name. Second component is again a text box with a heading last name. Third is a file upload kind of box. Fourth is a larger text box with rows and columns. Fourth, we can see right in front of education there are two square boxes which are known as checkboxes, which can be selected both at a particular time. The next is a gender button in which we are including radio buttons. We can select one of the radio button. Next, right below it we can see a drop down box for choosing country. And last, there are two buttons, reset and submit. For designing such kind of HTML form, the following coding has to be written. So let's begin. Open Notepad and write the following code. HTML To add color to the form, we are using BG color. The very first tag used for form designing is form tag. To draw a horizontal line, we can use HR tag. We are going to discuss each component one by one. So let's begin. The very first component on the form was the text box. Right behind the text box, you can see a heading. So the heading was first name. In order to make it bold, we can use B tag. For drawing a text box, the code that has to be written is input type equals to text. Name can be arbitrary. Suppose I am using simply first. BR tag for proper line breaks. Form tag close. body tag close, HTML tag close. We can save the file. So I'm saving the file with the name forms.html. Save. You can see the Explorer icon on my screen. Double click to run it. So there is a first text box on my application form. Now let's move on to the next component, that is another text box. So move to your coding again. V tag for making the heading bold. Again the same coding elements, input type equals to text, name equals to second, close, BR tag for line break. Again save your file by pressing Ctrl S, and you can note the changes in your running file. Reload your file. You can see another text box with a heading last name. Next component is file upload type of box. Let's make changes in the code. V tag, input type equals to file, name equals to BR tag for line breaks. Save your file. Run your file to see the changes. You can see a file upload type of button on browsing. It helps you in navigating or selecting the files from your system. The next component is a large text box with number of rows and columns in it. So let's make changes in the coding part. Again a BR tag for proper spacing. For designing a large text box, the code used is text area with no space in it, then specifying its number of rows and the columns. Rows equals to suppose 5, for columns we are using COLS. equals to 50, and again name could be anything, equals to description, close. You must close the text area tag. Again save the changes by pressing Ctrl S. You can reload your file. You can see an address box with rows and columns in it. Rows means it can be dragged or written for a longer type of text. The next component is the checkbox. So let's code for adding checkbox. I'm adding BR tags for line breaks. Suppose we want to add a field education. And put type equals to checkbox. Again, there must be no space between check and box. It must be a single word. If we want to write a word after the checkbox, we can add it after the tag, as I have added graduate word. The next text box is for postgraduate. I can write input type equals to checkbox, name equals to postgraduate. For adding a label, I am simply writing postgraduate. BR for line breaks. You can notice I haven't added a BR after graduate, so both the checkboxes will appear in the single line. Save your code by pressing Ctrl S and reload your file. Now you can see two checkboxes on your form. The next component that we are going to add are the radio buttons. So let's move to the coding again. Suppose I want to write gender. Right behind the radio buttons, so I am using gender word inside the bold tags. And put type equals to radio, name equals to gender, and right after the radio button I want to write male or female. I can add as per my priority. For adding another radio button, I will use the same code. Input type equals to radio, name equals to gender, the second option is female, BR tag for proper line spacing, you can notice that I have used a common name for both the radio buttons. The reason behind it is that as among the radio buttons only one option is to be clicked, so grouping feature is used, means that we are using a common name to both the buttons. Save your code to see the changes. Again reload your form. Now you can see two radio buttons. As I have told you, only one gets selected at a time. In case of checkbox, both can get select at a particular instant of time. The next component we are going to add is a drop down box. So let's again move to the code. For designing a drop down box, the tag used is select tag. Select name equals to drop down. For various options, the sub tag used is option tag. Selected word is used to see a selected item in your drop down box. For adding multiple values, we can use number of option tags. Lastly, we are going to close the select tag. Again, save your code by pressing Ctrl S and you can see the changes by reloading your page. Here a drop down menu can be seen. The last component of our form is the button. So let's code to design a button in it. For designing buttons, we can write input type equals to submit type of button. A new field known as value is added. The text inside the value is written over the button. Suppose I am writing the submit over it. Submit, and your tag rows. Another button for reset. Input, type equals to reset, name equals to rst, value equals to reset. We can save our code again by pressing Ctrl S. Again reload the file to see the changes. You can see a designed form as a HTML page. Thank you.